Genesis chapter 11, verses 1 to 32, New Revised Standard Version. Now the whole earth had one language and the same words. Verse 2, as they migrated from the east, they came upon a plain in the land of Shinar and settled there. Verse 3, and they said to one another, come, let us make bricks and burn them thoroughly. And they had bricks for stone, bitumen for mortar. Verse 4, then they said, come, let us build ourselves a city, a tower with its top in the heavens, and let us make a name for ourselves. Otherwise, we shall be scattered abroad upon the face of the whole earth. Verse 5, then the Lord came down to see the city and the tower which mortals had built. Verse 6, and the Lord said, look, they are one people. They have all one language, and this is only the beginning of what they will do. Nothing that they propose to do will now be impossible for them. Verse 7, come, let us go down and confuse their language there so that they will not understand one another's speech. Verse 8, so the Lord scattered them abroad from there over the face of all the earth, and they left off building the city. Verse 9, therefore it was called Babel, because there the Lord confused the language of all the earth, and from there the Lord scattered them abroad over the face of all the earth. Verse 10, there are the descendants of Shem. When Shem was 100 years old, he became the father of Arphaxad, 2 years after the flood. Verse 11, Shem lived after the birth of Arphaxad 500 years and had other sons and daughters. Verse 12, when Arphaxad had lived 35 years, he became the father of Shelah. Verse 13, and Arphaxad lived after the birth of Shelah 403 years and had other sons and daughters. Verse 14, when Shelah had lived 30 years, he became the father of Eber. Verse 15, and Shelah lived after the birth of Eber 403 years and had other sons and daughters. Verse 6, when Eber had lived 34 years, he became the father of Peleg. And verse 17, and Eber lived after the birth of Peleg 430 years and had other sons and daughters. Verse 18, when Peleg had lived 30 years, he became the father of Reu. Verse 19, and Peleg lived after the birth of Reu 209 years and had other sons and daughters. Verse 20, when Reu had lived 32 years, he became the father of Serug. Verse 21, and Reu lived after the birth of Serug 207 years and had other sons and daughters. Verse 22, when Serug had lived 30 years, he became the father of Nahor. Verse 23, and Serug lived after the birth of Nahor 200 years and had other sons and daughters. Verse 24, when Nahor had lived 29 years, he became the father of Terah. Verse 25, and Nahor lived after the birth of Terah 119 years and had other sons and daughters. Verse 26, and Terah had lived 70 years, he became the father of Abram, Nahor, and Haran. Verse 27, now these are the descendants of Terah. Terah was the father of Abram, Nahor, and Haran. Haran was the father of Lot. Verse 28, Haran died before his father Terah in the land of his birth in Ur of the Chaldeans. Verse 29, Abraham and Nahor took wives. The name of Abraham's wife was Sarai, and the name of Nahor's wife was Milcah. She was the daughter of Haran, the father of Milcah and Iscah. Verse 30, Sarai was barren. She had no child. Verse 31, Terah took his son Abram and his grandson Lot, son of Haran, and his daughter-in-law Sarai, his son's Abram's wife. And they went out together from Ur of the Chaldeans to go into the land of Canaan. But when they came to Haran, they settled there. 32. The days of Terah were 205 years, and Terah died in Haran. Genesis chapter 11, verses 1 to 32, New Revised Standard Version.